Why can't some experiments in Poppy Playtime speak? Many have asked this question for some time now, and I've been scratching my head at it for a while. But after looking for the info myself, I think I finally figured it out. So hey everybody, I'm Jeeps, and this is the real reason why some experiments can and can't speak. Throughout Poppy Playtime, we've met many characters and faced against many who couldn't speak as well. Some being PJ Pugapillar, Buns with the Bunny, and even Huggy Wuggy himself. And on the other hand, we've also seen a ton of characters who could speak, such as Poppy, Mommy Longlegs, and Catnap, just to name a few. But why can these characters speak while others can't? Well, fellow theorists, it comes down to a few different theories, and most of them are possibilities. But for now, let's take a look at the characters who can't speak and what we know about them. Starting off with Poppy, we meet Poppy for the first time at the end of Chapter 1, directly after escaping Huggy Wuggy, and we interact with her even more in Chapter 2 and 3. And there are videos where we can actually see Poppy, one of the main focuses here being Poppy Playtime's VHS maintenance tape. This maintenance video is one of the oldest videos on Mob's channel and teaches us how to take care of our Poppy doll, but takes a bloody twist as you can see something being taken out of Poppy later in the video. That something possibly being a voice box, a heart, whatever it might be. So what is that supposed to mean? Well, this clearly shows, as we already knew, that Playtime Co. was experimenting and artificially creating living toys from humans. But it also tells us something quite important. You see, one of the main theories within Poppy Playtime's fanbase is that the newer experiments could speak due to improvements over time in the experimentation process, like how Huggy Wuggy Experiment 1170 and Bobby Bear Hug 1186 both couldn't speak, but Catnap Experiment 1188 and Mommy Longlegs Experiment 1222 could. Sorry about the numbers, it was just needed for this part only. But it tells you that there could have been improvements that gave the experiments the ability to speak over time. But unfortunately, this is quickly disproved, as Poppy, the first person we covered, was also one of the first successful experiments created. With her being made in the 1950s, which we learned from her advertisement in the beginning of Chapter 1, how would she be able to speak? Things just don't add up. So it can't possibly be time related. But knowing that Playtime Co. was constantly experimenting, they could have been testing Poppy over time to make her the perfect doll, or so they say. Let me know your thoughts below, but this takes me to my next theory, where I believe all of them have the ability to speak, but some just can't. Let me explain. You see, in Poppy Playtime, we learned that orphans are being turned into toys alongside some of the Playtime workers as well. Some of these workers even volunteering for the experimentation process, and that's where our guy comes in. Thomas Clark. You see, Thomas Clark was a pediatrician at Playtime Co. until he was diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. Knowing that he was gonna die, he decided to volunteer to become an experiment, and we see the exact aftermath of that transformation on Mob's YouTube channel in a video called Restricted Restoration. But something's wrong. Thomas clearly doesn't know who he is, where he is, or what he is, though he clearly knew before, and similar side effects are even seen with the other experiments as well. So what does this tell us? The reason some experiments might not be able to speak could be due to cognitive issues related to the brain. This is even shown from a real-life neurological condition called apraxia, or apraxia, however you say it, which can, quote, affect a person's ability to make certain movements such as speaking, using tools, or moving their eyes. A neurological condition that matches up almost completely with what we're speaking about. And if you're not convinced yet, just look at Bobby Bear Hug in the Orientation Handbook, which Mob Entertainment released earlier this year. Look at page 114, you can see that Bobby Bear Hug can barely move, doesn't have the ability to speak, and can't hear what anybody's saying, which matches up almost exactly with this condition. So these transformations that occur from human to toy could have real side effects like apraxia on their brain. But let me cover one last theory, which can make the most sense depending on your opinion. You see, most of the experiments come from the urge to create the perfect bigger body as a part of the Bigger Bodies initiative. I swear, one topic that will never let go, but you have to ask, what was the reason for the initiative in the first place? Well, in Poppy Playtime's spin-off game, Project Playtime, we find 2 tapes which explain the reasoning behind the Bigger Bodies initiative, put in place by Dr. Harley Sawyer. What was the reason? Well, I'll let him say it.
Bigger Bodies Initiative. Giant toys. We can increase our workforce and simultaneously decrease the number of lawsuits and people on our payroll if the people we have working aren't people.
Yeah, you heard him correctly. The reason behind it all was to increase the workforce of Playtime Co. and decrease the risks that came with hiring human beings. And if you're wondering why any of this is important, well, it's because this gave the bigger body experiments purpose. And as we know, some Playtime experiments we've already seen do have specific jobs. For example, Catnap's job is to make sure no children escape and that they fell asleep. Mommy Longleg's purpose was to handle the children in Game Station, being a lovable mother figure to them, so on and so forth. So hear me out. What if their ability to speak was based on the purpose of their work? This would make sense, as Huggy Wuggy couldn't speak due to his only purpose being surveillance. Same going for Boxy Boo. He couldn't speak because his main purpose was to cut off loose ends within the facility. While someone like Mommy, the Smiling Critters, or Poppy, who are closer to the children, would require that ability to speak in order to communicate to the children. I honestly can't decide between whether the experiments have a medical condition preventing their cognitive abilities, or whether they just weren't given the ability to speak because they didn't need it. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you so much for 514 subscribers, and thank you for being a part of this community. More videos coming in the future, so let me know what you want to see. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'm Jeeps, and I'll see you next time.